So section 8-5 is called Law of Sines. Law of Sines is going to be super helpful when your triangle is not special, when your triangle is not a right triangle. Okay. So right triangles are awesome. They have one angle that's 90 degrees. But let's say you get a triangle and none of the angles are 90 degrees, okay? Just like with right triangles, you can use the calculator for either obtuse angles, and we're going to round to the nearest hundredth, just like we did with a cube. But you're going to get some weird answers, okay? We're used to doing it with acute, but here we're going to do it with some obtuse angles, and we're going to take the tangent of 103 degrees, okay? So just like when you're doing trig, you want to make sure your calculator is in degrees. So if it says little DEG, you're good to go. If not, then you need to go in and change it. And then all you do is type tangent, 103 degrees. But when you hit the equal sign, whoa, you get this negative answer. So you get negative 4 point. And the first time you write it, I want you to write out the whole screen. So this is what the calculator will show you, and then you need to take it and you need to round it to the nearest hundredth. So the nearest hundredth is 2 numbers after the decimal point, but you actually look to the third number to see if you stay or round up, and then you use your little wavy equal sign. So is this one going to say negative 4.33, or is it going to round up? Stay or round up? Stay. It's going to stay. And that's how you'll write it, okay? Even though the calculator goes crazy, all you're going to write is approximately negative 4.33, okay? Let's try another one. Let's try the cosine of 165 degrees. So this time we're going to hit the cosine button, type 165, hit the equal sign. Got a glare on there today. So we're going to use wavy equal sign. It's negative again. This time, after the decimal, we've got 0.96, but next to it is a 5. So do I stay or round up? Round up, so this becomes 0.97 negative. All right. And one more, sine of 93 degrees. The equal sign. After the decimal, we have 0.99, but the number next to it is an 8. So do we stay or round up?
Round up.
Round up. So if it's 99, you round up to 100, which actually pushes the 1 in front of the decimal, and you get 1.00, which is just 1. All right, so today we're going to learn something called the law of sines. And we're going to draw a triangle, but this triangle is definitely not a right triangle. So we're not going to draw a little box there. We're not going to draw a little box there or a little box there, but we are going to label the vertices A, B, and C. Notice they're all capital A, capital B, capital C. And the side opposite them is going to be their lowercase. So opposite angle A, we're going to put little side A. And opposite angle B, we're going to put little side B. And opposite angle C, we're going to put little c. So here's how the law of sines works. Your can say that the sine of angle A to the if you put it in the ratio to its side is equal to the sine of B in ratio to its opposite side. Same thing for the sine of C in the ratio to side C. You're given all three, but you only need two to set up a proportion. Which ones should you use? You should use the ones that you're given. Okay? What do I mean by that? Well, here's example number 2. So we're going to draw a triangle. Not a right triangle, just a random triangle that has different measures for its angles. So we'll call it FGH. And then I'm going to put in some measurements for you. Angle F over here is going to be 39 degrees. Angle H down here is going to be 32 degrees. And side GH over here is going to be 40 inches. Okay. We are asked to find side FG. So the first thing we do is we go to side FG. Here's F, here's G. We're talking about this side over here, and there's nothing here. What should we put there? X. So we know that that's the side we're trying to figure out. Put any variable you like. I like X, but you can put a question mark. You can put H if you like. And then we need to use the law of sines. The law of sines that says that an angle, such as 39, if you take the sine of it, you can set it in a ratio with its opposite side. So the first one we're going to use is the sine of 39 degrees over its opposite side, which is 40. Okay? Then I look at over here at side FH. There's nothing there. I look over here at angle G. There's nothing there. So I'm not going to use that one. Okay? If there's nothing there, don't use it. Okay? To set up your proportion, you only need two of the ratios, right? So the other one that we're going to use is this one right here. Angle H has 32, and opposite it is our X. So we're going to say that this is equal to the sine of 32 over the opposite side, which is X. Okay, just like any proportion that you're used to doing, you should have 3 spaces filled in and one thing with a variable, right? One thing that you're going to solve for. Okay? How do we solve a proportion? Cross product, right? We want to multiply this way and multiply this way. So we're going to say X times the sine of 39 is equal to 40 times the sine of 32. And then if we want to solve for X, right now it's being multiplied by the sine of 39. So what's the inverse operation of multiplying? Dividing. So I'm going to divide this side by the sine of 39. Divide this side by the sine of 39. Cancels out over here, and we're left with X is equal to 40 times the sine of 32 divided by the sine of 39. Okay? At this point, I'm going to tell you to type this carefully into your calculator. In fact, before you leave today, I need everybody to try it on their calculator and make sure they get the same answer I get so that you know how to do it. And if for some reason you get a different answer, then raise your hand and have me help you type it in, okay? So here's basically how you type it in. You're going to type 40, then you're going to hit sine of 32. You have to close that parenthesis. See how it gives you an open parenthesis? You have to close that parenthesis and then divide by the sine of 39. close the parentheses, hit the equal sign, and you're going to get approximately 33.68. Next to the 8 is a 2, so it's going to stay. So you're going to have 33.68, and this one was measured in inches. And then just see if it makes sense. So if this angle over here is 39 degrees and its opposite side is 40, does it make sense that if this one's 32, its opposite side should be 33.68, really close to 34? Okay? All right, let's do one more. I'm going to move that up. There you go. So you're still copying it. This will be example number 3. Here's our triangle. Oops, got to shrink it a little bit here. There we go. Here's our triangle. We'll call this one P, Q, R. And let's fill in some information. So angle P is 51 degrees. And side RP is 6 centimeters. And side RQ is 8 centimeters. We're going to be asked to find the measure of angle Q. Okay? So slightly different than example 2. In example 2, we were asked to find the missing side. This time, we're going to be asked to find the missing angle. So I'm going to go over to angle Q. There's nothing there, so that's where I should put my what? X. Okay? And I can see that I'm going to use this angle and its opposite side, and this angle and its opposite side. You definitely shouldn't use R and its opposite side because there's nothing at either spot, right? Okay? So let's set up our proportion. We're going to say the sine of X over its opposite side, which is 6, is equal to this angle over here, the sine of 51, and its opposite side, which is 8. All right? So we're going to do the same thing we did in example 2. In order to solve a proportion, we use the cross product. So I prefer my variable on the left, so I'm going to say the sine of X times 8 is equal to the sine of 51 times 6. Okay? The sine of X is being multiplied by 8, so the inverse operation is to divide by 8. So they cancel over here. Now, we're solving for an angle, not for a side. So should we use regular trig or inverse trig? Inverse trig. So I'm going to say the inverse sine of X is going to be equal to 6 times the sine of 51 divided by 8. So this is very tricky in the calculator. All right, so we're going to put a little star there, meaning you need to type this into your calculator before you leave and make sure that you get the same answer I get. So when you type it in, you're going to say the inverse sine of, and there's going to be a couple parentheses, and you're going to need to make sure to close them. If you don't close your parentheses, your calculator is going to spit out the wrong answer. So copy this down and make sure all the parentheses that I put, you put on yours as well. All right. So let me punch it in the calculator here for you. So we're going to say the inverse sine. So you have to hit the second or the shift. Then you've got a couple parentheses. One they've already given you. Type in a second one, then 6 times the sine of 50.